Hello there, and welcome back to our course introduction video, part 2. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to improve our listening and speaking skills, and at the same time, I'm going to give you a quick tour of our Moodle page. Okay, welcome back. Did you enjoy your break? I hope so. Now, the third skill that we want to be able to master this school year is listening. Now, I call this the most underrated of all the language skills. Not many appreciate the importance of listening in learning a language. Why do we say that? A lot of language learners, even language teachers themselves, undervalue listening as a skill. Those who seek to learn a language give much of their effort in trying to speak the language. What they don't realize is speaking will naturally follow when one is listening a lot. Now, let me read that again. Speaking will naturally follow when one is listening a lot. Why do we say that? And what does that mean? How did you learn your first language? Okay, let me ask you a question first. Don't read it. Don't read the syllabus. Talk to me. How did you learn your first language? Did you come out of your mother's womb and able to speak your language, your mother tongue immediately after a few days, after a few months? No, right? So what was happening before you actually learned how to speak? Yeah, that's right. You were listening and just listening because you couldn't speak. You couldn't speak yet. So we have learned our first language this way. Before we were able to speak well, we trained our ears to listen first. The same is true as we learn English. Good pronunciation, speaking fluency will follow as we learn to listen, as we listen to English materials or sit in English lectures. Or in our case, as we listen to people who speak English. So, how are we going to learn how to speak well? By listening and listening a lot. So, we are going to maximize listening opportunities in our course. So, I want to ask you right now, how are your listening skills in English? How well do you listen? How much of what you listen to in English can you catch? Can you follow along in conversations? Like when you're talking to someone in English, can you understand what they're saying? And can you figure out the main idea and supporting details as you listen to messages, lectures, when you watch videos on YouTube, when you listen to an English sermon? Can you find the main idea that no matter where the speaker is in his message, you can say that, this is his main point. Can you identify specific details while listening? And can you read between the lines and make inferences as you listen? So it's not just, you can see the last question can be confusing. When you say read between the lines, what is the meaning behind what the person is saying? So those are the things we will try to accomplish this term. Take note of these questions because at the end of the term, we will go back and ask ourselves these questions. Hopefully, by God's grace, we'll be able to answer yes to all of them. Now, moving on, as I said, I'm going to be providing you with several listening opportunities this semester and even in the next semester. So, for this semester, we will have a variety of listening materials, but most of them will be coming from AJ Hogue and Paul Washer. You can read this, but AJ Hogue is an English teacher. He's not a Christian, but he is very good. I like his techniques, methods, principles in learning English. In fact, the very first listening assignment I gave you is from him. And the next one is Paul Washer. So Paul Washer is one of my favorite preachers, primarily because his theology is very good. His preaching is he's very biblical in his preaching. But why did I choose him as one of the as part of our listening assignments? It's because his accent is quite neutral. So compared to other English speakers, it's a little bit easy to understand him. But aside from AJ Hogue and Paul Washer, we are going to have native speakers who will be helping us out this term. Yeah, you will be able to meet them in the first day of class. I will keep it as a surprise, okay? But I'm very happy that they will be joining us in the class this school year because they were able to join the class as teachers last semester, and we had a blast. We had fun. It was so good having them around. Not only because they're native speakers, but they are like they're like pastors. It's like having pastors inside our class. So you will meet them in on the first day. So I'll keep that as a surprise, okay? Before we go to the last skill that we will be addressing this semester, I want to pause for a while and allow you to listen to some sounds from outside. So, what sounds can you hear? There's the sound of an insect, and there's the sound of a bird is making. So, it gives you an idea, those sounds give you an idea of what kind of environment IGSL is like. So, we are surrounded by trees, that's why insects and birds come over and visit us, and some of them stay. Maybe they are trying to welcome you here in IGSL. I wish you could come here the soonest time possible. Anyway, let's move on to skill number 4, which is speaking. How well do you speak in English? Are you finding it hard to express yourself? Are you slowed down in your speaking because you keep translating in your head what you want to say? Now, if this is true, don't worry because we're going to be helping you in the English intensive training class. Are you able to express your thoughts clearly and quickly as you speak? Are you able to respond promptly during conversations? That means when someone says something, you don't translate it in your mind and then try to give an answer. you can respond very quickly? Are you also using appropriate words in speaking? Are you pronouncing words correctly? Are your intonations correct? So these are the things, the questions that you should be asking yourself in order to gauge your English speaking level. So in IGSL, speaking is the skill that will most naturally develop since you'll have no choice but to speak with your neighbors and other students while you are in IGSL. This this is true if you were here in IGSL, but you are not, right? You don't have an English speaking environment. So in EIT, it should not be, but in EIT, we will help you with that. We will try to provide an online environment through which you can practice your speaking. How do we do that? Later on, we'll talk about it. But I want to address this question. Why are some people not improving in their speaking? A lot of people who are learning to speak in English find it hard to develop because of one reason. They want their sentences to be without mistakes. This is especially true for Asians, especially the East Asians. The problem with this is because they are too careful not to commit mistakes while speaking, they do not speak much or not at all. And without much practice, one cannot expect to improve in his English speaking skills. So don't try to be perfect. Don't be concerned too much about your speaking. I mean, if you are too concerned about making mistakes, what's going to happen is you will not be able to speak at all, right? You would rather just shut up and not try to practice. But I want you to understand this: mistakes are okay. Mistakes are okay. In other words, the key to speaking English is to speak, speak, and speak more often. And if we may add, speak without caring much about making mistakes. If you care so much about mistakes, you'll never be able to open your mouth. And that's what I was saying. The idea is you learn to speak in English in the same way you learn to speak your first language. So we already talked about that in the listening portion. I'm going to skip that, but listening is still very important. And in the same way with writing, fluency should come first before accuracy. First, you must be able to express your thoughts clearly, quickly, and smoothly in English, even if there are mistakes. We call this fluency. Think of your speaking like fluid, like I was saying earlier. It just flows smoothly, which means that you will speak faster and without much thinking. Whatever is in your head, you'll be able to say it out. Whatever you want to say just comes out of your mouth smoothly. Now, as you practice speaking more often, engage in more conversation, and listen to lectures or watch movies, you find that you will develop a stronger sense of correctness. It comes naturally. That thing inside your brain tells you, something isn't right. In that case, you are on your way to accuracy or correctness. That means you not only speak quickly, but you start to speak with few grammar mistakes and more appropriate words and expressions. So that is our goal, that you will be able to acquire that sense of correctness. Notice this among the native speakers. When someone speaks, they will be able to identify mistakes, but they cannot explain why it's wrong. So that is our goal, that you will be able to acquire that same sense of correctness, that if you're making a mistake, or if someone is making a mistake, you'll be able to identify it. And that happens naturally through reading and listening. Yeah, so the idea is increase your input, listen a lot, read a lot, and then your speaking will improve. So the next question is how? How specifically can we help you improve in your speaking? Or remember, I was talking about we will provide you with opportunities to improve your speaking. What are those opportunities? Okay, let's talk about them. The first one is weekly conversation practice. To help you with your listening and speaking skills, you will be assigned a conversation practice partner with whom you will have a weekly 30-minute long meeting via Zoom. Topics will be provided, but if you or your partner decide to talk about something else, please feel free to do so. Okay, so on the first day of class, you will know who your conversation partner is going to be. Okay, so there will be three of us, and for each month, you're going to have a different conversation partner. Okay, so this is something that we are also excited to do with you. Aside from weekly conversation practice, you're also going to have speaking assignments. In the EIT class, you have several opportunities to improve your speaking through weekly speaking assignments. They will be posted in the speaking section of our Moodle page regularly. They will vary from time to time, but most of the time you will be asked to post a reaction to what you have read, watched, or listened to. You will be uploading a video file or an audio file if you want. And some of these examples are the following. This is your first listening assignment. Your life in your country. We want to know you better. So here are some things you can talk about in your video. What are your interests? What ministry are you involved in? If you are working, what do you do? If you have a family, introduce them a little. So you will have 10 to 15 minutes to talk about these things, to introduce yourself to us. There would also be a time when you would give a short message. You will share a short devotional, and your goal is to encourage the class. You can talk about a Bible verse, a passage of scripture, or the book you're reading, a book you're reading, and you also have 10 to 15 minutes to do this. And aside from that, you will also have intonation and pronunciation practice. So using an application called English Conversation Practice, you will choose a conversation and record yourself. Your goal in this project is to try to imitate the native speakers. When we say native speakers, those who speak English as their first language. So these are the Americans, Australians, British people, and you will try to imitate them as closely as possible. Their intonation, their pronunciation, and try your best to minimize your local accent. That means if you're Chinese, you should not sound Chinese at all. That's just an example. You will be graded according to three criteria: pronunciation, intonation, and minimized local accent. Now, where do we find these conversations? So you can follow these links. If you're using an Android phone, you can click this link. If you're using an iOS or an Apple or iPhone or iPad, you can click this one. It's a very good application. Okay, in the last part of your syllabus, you can see the schedule for our English proficiency test. You will have a chance to take the EPT twice this semester. The first one is going to be your midterm exam. It's going to be on October 16, 2020. And the final exam will be on the last day of our class. That's going to be December 18, 2020. Of course, these schedules might change, but I will let you know if they do change. But so far, these are our schedules. We are almost done. So I'm just going to go through with you our Moodle page so that you can be familiar with the different parts of our Moodle page. So this is the first part, the course overview. And these are some tutorial videos. And we have different sections for different skills. The first one is reading section. You also have listening section, writing section, and speaking section. Okay, why did I divide these sections into according to the four skills? Because every week you're going to have different assignments for each of these skills. So, for example, for reading, this is where you submit your assignments, your article, Newsella article reading reports, and your reading reports for Hudson Taylor's biography. And you can also find here the resources section. So, this is where you download lessons. I will be uploading lessons here, and also um, like this one. Yeah, these are the books. You can download the books right here. Yeah, so this is the book we're going to be using. So I uploaded the books we're going to be using for this semester. You've got Hudson Taylor's biography, Adoniram Judson's biography, and George Mueller's autobiography. You can also find here the reading report. Let me just open that up. So after you read Newsella, this is what you are going to fill in. So you just write your name, the name of the article, the summary, something like that. So it's already um, it's editable, so you can edit it right here. But I think you will have to download it in order to save it. So after you edit it or you fill it in, you download it and then upload it. Where do you upload it? You upload it right. Okay, let me just go back. You upload it in the submission bins for Newsella reading reports. Let's try that. So this is week 1 reading report for article 1. So for the first week you only have one article. Let's click that one. Yeah, you cannot see it because I'm okay, let me change my role to a student. Okay. So click that and then you will add add submission. And just drag and drop the file you're submitting, and then after that save changes. That's it. So let's go back to the main page. So this is where you submit your reading assignments. Okay? You also have the listening section and the writing section. The same thing. If I have some resources I want to give you, then you can just click or download them from here. Or if I want you to submit listening assignments, then this is also the place where you can do that. Here. So these are the instructions. The files are here. Okay. And then you can, right now I think you cannot submit yet. Okay. Yeah, this assignment will accept submissions from Tuesday, August 25. Yeah, so it's not yet open. So that's for listening section. You also have writing section. So this is where you submit your writing projects. I'm going to be creating a bin for that. But this is where you also submit your response to, we're going to have weekly discussion forums. So I want you to participate in these forums. For week 1, this is what you need to do. Just read through it, okay? And then add a new topic, add a subject, and answer the questions. You just have to answer these questions. Why is there? And then post the forum. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's for writing section. You also have speaking section. This is where you will be posting your speaking assignments. This is for week 1. And then you can move on to week 2. Yeah, there are no instructions yet. So now you can understand why I organized it that way, so that you would know specifically where to submit your specific assignments. Now the next question is, how do you know what are the things you need to do for each week? What are your tasks? Where can you find them? So you can see here week 1. So for week 1, I'm always going to upload what we call a Google Slides. It's like PowerPoint. So this right here contains the things you need to accomplish for the whole week. Okay? The instructions are here, the explanations are here. So let's make it bigger. Yeah, so this is this contains the links to our Zoom meetings. So you just have to click that. Yeah, we have to change this one. It should be 9 a.m. And here you go. So these are the things you need to accomplish this week. You can see that it has a hyperlink, so you can just click. Yeah. So the instructions are there. Task 2, listening assignment. Task 3, reading assignment. And I provided some external links right here. You can just click them. Yeah, task 4, discussion forum. And the last one is speaking assignment 1. Okay, I'm not going to explain them, but I want you to read them in advance. So that's the basic format of our Moodle page. If you have any questions, please let me know. Okay? Yeah, after watching this video, by the way, I want you to post some questions, comments, reactions right here. And this is our Q&A Padlet. Now, if you want to know how to use this one, I already created a tutorial video right here. How to use Padlet. so you can just access this. Before we end, our class schedule, online class schedule is this. So it's going to be Tuesday and Friday, 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the morning, Philippine time. So it's up to you how to make that conversion. I know you have different time zones. So I hope the time is favorable for you. It's not too early or not too late. We will see you in the first class on August 26th.